Hi, good afternoon. This is Bates Reed with Spiritually Awakening World. And I'd like to bring some thoughts and concepts to you today that I've been working on for many, many years. I think we all know we have certain gifts that we bring to the world, or certain things that we've been taught in this lifetime, and different lessons that we've had to learn. And one of my biggest lessons has been, and one of my biggest gifts now I think that my work is here to do. I talk about my work, not the work that the world taught me to do, but the work that I had to figure out that was mine to do through all the lessons and experiences of a lifetime. So where I am and what I'd like to do is we've been working on community for years. Even when I was 21 years old, the concept of living in community was appealing to me, and I worked with a little apartment complex and pulled some people together, and we had a little community there right in college. Of course, we all have different kinds of communities. We've got our church communities. We've got all different kinds of communities. As time goes on, what we're learning is there's a consciousness, there's an awareness to why we have the experiences that we have. They come from within us. They come from that connection with God, with Source, of the spirit of oneness that we are, of that light. And there's a light body inside here. And a lot of us, what we talk about or what we like to share about is this bodysuit. This thing you see with me right now, this is a bodysuit. It's got a brain in it, and it is configured so that it works, the brain works with the heart and the other parts of this being to experience life. And in that, there are things that we're taught in our brain from a young age as children, and then there are things that we know in our heart. There are things we feel in our gut. There are all of these concepts and roles that come from these experiences. And what we've learned through lifetimes, through the books, through the mystics, through the teachers, through Jesus, through the Buddhas, through all of our teachers that have been here to try to right what may have gone wrong in our minds and our hearts, or we may have been misformed or misinformed, or just all the many things that have created what we call today the illusion of our lives. And that illusion sucks because it's full of lies. It's full of the non-truth of non-love that we are told we should experience. It includes the concepts of going to school, getting an education from an authority that knows how to teach your kids. And what we've learned is so much of that does not allow the child to blossom. It doesn't allow the child to come out and be who the child is. It forces children to conform. And we were those children at one time. In discovering who we are, discovering the light that is within us, the genius that's inside you and me and everybody else, it takes going within. It takes these practices called meditation. It takes the ongoing work of finding ourselves, establishing who we are to ourselves, and remembering why we came to this planet is my belief system. I believe I came here with a contract to fulfill, to assist in lifting humanity out of this prison planet, it might be called, or out of this illusionary 3D or three-dimensional world that we have been confined to in these bodies on this planet. Now, within us is that light body. That's the place that Jesus talked about, and so many other teachers talked about, that we go within and we find God within us. We do our meditation practices. We sit in stillness and quietness, and we begin to learn who we are by communing with Source, communing with light, with love, with God. And then there's many of us that have had experiences where we can say, I've touched the face of God. I've had that experience, and it's not just me, it's you. It's many, many, many people that aren't afraid to say it. And you can go way back in time to the Middle East and to the Eastern cultures where Jesus and some great teachers still walk around today. Now, we don't hear that in our Western cultures. That would be like, what do you mean he's walking around? Or this person's walking around. Well, they come and go. They've learned to surpass what man is. So, as he is today. So what we're talking about now is we're talking about a world that is shifting. We're seeing huge and dramatic world shifts. We are seeing a place that looks like it's crumbling and falling apart from all of our political systems, not just here in the United States, but all over the world. But at the same time, we see consciousness arising, expanding, reaching out. Consciousness isn't something that makes you better than someone else, because it has nothing to do with anyone else. It has only to do with what's inside you, what's inside me. As my consciousness expands and grows and develops, there are a couple of things that happen. I begin to do shadow work. You've done shadow work with yourself, going back to maybe the lies that you were taught. And I'm not just calling them like they are. They were lies. They were outright laws. You believed them, lies. You believed them because you were taught them by your parents or grandparents or society. And they said this is the right way to do things. But then many of us at some point said, no, that's not correct. Whoever told me that believed that possibly, but it was their reality or their illusion in a 3D world that is not mine. So what we're seeing is we're seeing a world, we're seeing temperatures go up, carbon emissions. We have done it to our planet along with a regular cycle that the planet goes through every, call it what you will, 25,000 years, 100,000 years. There's all different kinds of numbers that people put out there, that the Earth recycles itself. Or maybe Nibiru and we go through another planetary system and it causes all the planets within our solar system to change and to adapt and to move physically. The plates change, volcanism occurs, earthquakes come from all of those shifts. And that's because energy is coming in. It is flooding the planet. So it's nothing to be afraid of. It's a continual life expression and the earth renewing herself. However, there is abundant information that shares with us what we are going through as human souls, as angels of light that came here to do work on this planet. You know you came here to do something, but are you doing it, or did you conform to the world around you? It is time, my friends, it is time, with all of the earth shifts, that we as light workers, I call us ambassadors of light, ones that are ready to stand up and say, I stand for who I am. I've learned a lot of gifts in my life, whether I'm 5 years old or whether I'm 105 years old. But this is what I know about myself, and this is the work I know because I've remembered now through my meditation, through my prayer, through all of my exercises, through the teachings, through the Wayne Dyers, through the Marianne, just whoever you want to call in that has been a teacher for you, Jesus, the Buddhists, etc., etc. So in this awakening that we are realizing, in this awareness that is happening to all of us, not just me, not just that person over there, but all of us that want to awaken, to do the work so that our soul can remember how to connect with God, how to connect with life, how to connect with Source. Those of us that have said we are open to that process of love. There are people that don't want to be open. They want to take whatever belief systems they've had, hang on to it, and believe that. And we don't judge that. There can be no judgment in the work we are all doing here today. The biggest fault to anything that we do is the moment we place judgment on our brothers and our sisters, because they are our brothers and sisters. Doesn't mean we tag along with them and do what they do, but it does mean we respect and honor them. And that's where we are today. We've begun a website. I've worked on community my entire life, but now at this point in my life, an evolution of it is called Spiritually Awakening World, and it's on Facebook. And what we are doing is we are calling on people that consider themselves light workers or ambassadors of light to stand up and be an ambassador of light in your city or your town. If you will go to Spiritually Awakening World on Facebook, you can also reach me at goinoutreach@gmail.com. I also have another page that I work with my energy partners. In 3D world, we call them clients. In 5D dimensional time frames, we're calling those energy partners, because what we're doing is I'm not just offering something to them. They're giving it back. We are sharing and inspiring each other through the work we've done in our lives to be all that we came here to be to do that work, and then to have somebody to bounce that work back off so we can go back out in the world and inspire other people. So if you're living in a city, we have Ambassadors of Light in Atlanta, Minneapolis and St. Paul, Hastings, Minneapolis, Chattanooga, Tennessee. We have about 10 of them going right now, and what we're ready to do is to begin reaching out all over the planet, all over this country, and saying, are you ready to stand up and be an ambassador of light? With that comes integrity. With that comes the work you're doing. With that comes discernment of who you are and the people you want to play with. But as we begin to gather, what I would ask of you is contact me on the website and say, let me know if you would like to be an ambassador of light. Some people take that to mean, I can't take on that. We are asking as ambassadors of light, as light workers, can you hold the space so that other light workers can find you? So that if there is a fire in Northern California, that you know cities and towns near you where people doing good work to transform the planet and our consciousness can gather. It will happen in every city and every town. And that's what we're doing. We're building bridges so that you can find other people around you doing similar like-minded work to lift us into the 5D conscious reality. Some people will call that heaven on earth. Some people might call it the 5D dimension, the 5-dimensional frequency. It is all a frequency. It is all energy. We are learning. We are growing. We are evolving. So just go to the page, look at it, and if you are ready to stand up and hold your shield up to do the work you came here to do, let me know. Go to Go In Outreach. See if what we're doing there inspires you to want to gather more information. There's so much work for us to do, but really just holding the space as an ambassador of light is probably one of the most important things you can do right now. You can say, I'm ready to hold space in Cincinnati, or in Chattanooga, Tennessee, or in Atlanta, Georgia, and as other ambassadors of light come on, we'll do weekly gatherings, and they can be at different people's houses. They can be at an event where you're going to perform music. They can be at a Broadway show, working with a lady named Gina Satelli up in the Minneapolis area. We're working with Dream Collective, who has a conscious message, for millennials and those that came before them and those that will come after them. We have people working on Sensei Segovia, working here near the Chattanooga area in Crossville, working to speak with his gift is to work with Christians, the ones that may be stuck or feel misled by certain things they've been taught by old paradigms. How do you release yourself from those and not throw the baby out with the bathwater? So many people in his work threw Jesus out because of what the church did. So they didn't go back to the church. They didn't build relationships with these spiritual teachers and guides like Jesus. And so now there are people coming forth and saying, I will help you with that. I'll help you get back to having a relationship, because as it has manifested in a third dimensional reality, the man named Jesus had, or our Father, or however you want to phrase that, as you grow through whatever you're growing through. But let's don't throw the baby out with the bathwater in anything we do. There's pieces of truth in everything we've been taught throughout this lifetime. There are a lot of lies that have been taught as well. It's time for you to figure those out and to hold that space where everybody is loved, that they are your brothers and your sisters. And if you want to hold space with us as an ambassador of light in your city, that's where we start. We will then, the idea is to bring on festivals, actually purchase land, build all of the sustainable infrastructure necessary in those pieces of land, and then we'll begin to vet who comes into those communities. Because as more and more earth changes occur, people will want to go where it's safe, where light surrounds them, where people doing good work are there to serve. We will see this in the days and months and years to come. It's been going on for years, but now we're ready to do it on a planetary basis. The internet provides that for us, provides a place where we can gather, where we can find each other. And if we need to go over to the city, 2 cities over, we'll know where those people are. And we'll be able to have communication and build relationships now, not when it's too late to go there if the internet's down or the power's down. Millions of people with power down. Millions. Millions of people being flooded out all over the world, every country. We are here now to connect with each other and then to build something of prosperity and love and abundance, not based on a three-dimensional reality that is full of greed. Money has become their God. That is not the place we know as heaven. That is not the place we know as a fifth-dimensional frequency or reality. Inside our souls, each of us know what is there as far as why we're trying to get back to creating a place called heaven on earth. I ask you to look at that. I also ask you to look at a book called The Gene Keys. It's written by Richard Rudd, and I honestly believe this book holds the keys from my short experience with it in working with my clients or the energy partners that I work with, that this is opening up tools for us. We are made up of a genetic structure of 64 genes. Within those genes, our mind, our bodies, our souls has been moved and changed to where we mostly work within the shadow of each of those genes. In your own shadow work, you know that when you go and experience something terrible in your life, abuse, whatever it may be, you have to go and explore that so you can release it, so you know it's there, but you can work from the light and transform it into the truth of who you are, not the fear based on the experience you had. That book takes you through each one of the gene sequences within your body. I'm working with people. I'm going to start classes on it, or facilitating classes, just so more and more people can wake up. I am grateful for this book, and I've never met Richard yet, but I am grateful for the tool that is here, and I think it's here for you. So if you'll check out Go In Outreach, or you check out Spiritually Awakening World, you'll find the other cities that are waking up. Contact me. We'll put you into the network wherever your city is. We'll build you a page that will be included in our network. And then we will begin calling in more and more light workers to do the work we came here to do, to transform our next timeline into a place that we know we are supposed to create and build together. As the children of the light, as children of love, as humans having an experience, we put away all judgment of all humanity, of all politics, of all preachers, of all politicians. And we love our brothers and sisters. But we no longer live in that illusion. And what we will build, what we are building, is the truth and the light of God, God's source and love. Thank you. I hope you'll get in touch with me. Many blessings to you. Namaste, namaskar, and amen.